Good morning. Looks like we're live Wednesday, July 14th. And as we're just starting to stream off, it looks like ATOS is starting to run a little bit. Been talking about the gamma squeeze potential in that stock. We'll go over it a little bit here in a second. But looks like the option chain on ATOS actually got loaded up even more yesterday, too. So I'm really excited about today with ATOS. Hopefully, I'll be able to cash in and add on to my CLOV position at these cheap prices. All right, so let's get into it. Good morning, everybody who's already in here. Michael, co-creator. Um, let's see here. Stars looks like a new one. I'll get to that question in a second. And Ingram, what's going on? Good morning. Um, let's see here. Actually, I'll just take a look right now. So Michael says looking for a big move on ATOS today. Hoping for some big fat tendies to buy more CLOV. Um, Co-creator says, good morning, CLOV family. Great day for a green day. And then Stars, let's see this. So if the ATOS gamma squeeze happens, will this price shoot up on Friday or after closing, driving the price up Monday opening? So if the gamma squeeze happens, in my experience, um, usually these gamma squeezes that I've at least been a part of have happened on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But I've also seen one kick off on GameStop on a Friday before. So it could happen any day, but it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with I think maybe what you're getting at is like it's got to wait until the day ends on Friday, and then those options need to be exercised. It has nothing to do with that. So basically, with the gamma squeeze is like um, as the price goes up, we'll just pull this up real quick because ATOS is what I wanted to talk about here first, anyways. So, and this webull option chain isn't actually taking into account the volume that came in yesterday. I was just looking at some of these numbers, and they're a little bit higher even. But what's happening is, as the price goes up, the delta on these calls increases, right? So, like this, just to give you an example, this $6 strike has 41,000 open contracts versus 10,000 open puts. Again, this is yesterday's information. It hasn't updated yet, but that's basically a difference of 31,000 contracts, which is 3.1 million shares. And the longer we stay above $6, this delta is going to eventually increase to 0.99. So that's another 17% of these 4.1 million shares that need to be bought as the stock continues to stay above 6. So those shares, as we get closer to Friday, every single minute that passes by, the delta is going to continue to increase on everything back here, because the same thing applies here. So it was what 27% of these, 19% of these, 8% of these. They're going to continue to be bought up by algorithms that are trying to stay delta neutral, and just the sheer number of contracts that are open right here are going to continue to be bought up, and that's going to force the price higher. Now, once it crosses 750 or gets closer to 750, this delta is going to increase, and that's a difference of about 5.4 million shares. So a lot of shares here that need to be delta hedged on a relatively small float is basically what the play is. So this could happen today. I'm actually thinking it's probably is going to happen today, just based off this price action. Like if you look going back, actually, let's go back to this daily chart. So going back to yesterday, as we were continuing to ramp up, you could tell there was some sell pressure coming in and some suppression. But even once we got into after hours, it did eventually get upwards of 650. But like I said, every minute we get to Friday, it's going to continue to put more and more pressure through the option chain for the algorithms to keep buying up these shares, and it looks like that's happening right now. Even as we're in the unless we're seeing retail buying coming in, but I really think that we're going to start seeing these algorithms buying up more and more of these shares, and if it actually kicks off and it happens, for sure I'm looking for this thing to get above 16. But you know, anyone who was part of that little CLOV gamma squeeze on June 8th knows that, you know, once it gets above there, I mean, it could run up to 20. You could run up to 24, but once it gets up there and people start selling and taking profits, you're going to see a reverse gamma squeeze coming down, you know, with the option chain unwinding. So I would say once we get above 16, start looking for an exit strategy. You know, if this thing kicks off, and it's probably going to happen, you know, within a matter of you know, once we cross 16 and hit our high point. It could be 20, could be 24, it could be, you know, I mean, I have no idea how high it's going to go, but once it gets above that $16 threshold, we'll start paying attention to volume. You know, if we're lucky enough to get there, and figuring out what a good exit strategy is. But um, you know, if you're working with options like I am, I'm all call options. As soon as we get above 16, I'm probably going to look to cut enough of my position just to play it safe, and um, you know, like, cover my cost basis, because this, don't get me wrong, this could run a lot higher. It's just, it seems like when you're in these gamma squeezes, once you get to the top of the option chain, things start slowing down. We also have you know, this is a somewhat of a short squeeze candidate too. It's got decent short interest, and you know, the FOMO factor too. So I'm not saying it can't go higher than that. It's just something to be weary of, you know, be aware of, and you know, be ready to kind of jump out once we get upwards of there, if we do. And I'm really feeling strongly about this. You know, just looking at, you know, here we're touching above 7 right now. Again, these aren't updated options numbers, but you know, once we cross this 750 range, if we do, you know, that's a ton of open interest there. So we'll see what happens. And we'll get back to ATOS in a second. This mic's driving me crazy right now. I can't find a nice place to put it that it's not feeling like it's in my way. Let me see if I make this longer. Get this out of here. I feel like every week I have something new, you know, whether it's using webull or, you know, using a different streaming software. Now it's all about using this new mic, and I'm trying to get used to that. But bear with me, we'll figure it out. So other stocks, I'll just go around the horn right now, but I think the most exciting ones today are probably going to be ATOS, potentially you know, CLOV and GameStop, and we'll get into those last in a second. But AVXL, looking around, didn't seem like there was a ton of you know, news or anything coming out. Just basically the whole Biogen thing. I think AVXL ran up to roughly, was it 28 the other day? This was on Friday. And shortly after that, some news came out about a probe into Biogen and their approval. And a lot of these other Alzheimer's stocks were dealing with, or we're kind of getting a boost when Biogen got theirs. And, you know, I think the speculation was that we were going to see um, a lot of approvals in their studies as well, because it seemed like a kind of a more lax approval process. And so this one took off up to 28 on Friday, and then shortly after that, there was this announcement about Biogen and a federal probe going into them, and all of a sudden, all these Alzheimer's stocks took a similar hit on Friday. We did see yesterday, on Tuesday, AVXL got to running a little bit, got up to 26.48. I really think this stock is, you know, just consolidating and prime for another breakout above 31. So something I'm keeping my eye on. I do have a position in AVXL right now. BNGO has been very disappointing, to say the least. I keep thinking it's getting ready to break out. And, you know, while it did, you know, it got up to 770. The last run got it up to 9. I'm just waiting for that next run to kind of get us into this $10, $11 range so I can get rid of my August calls. But I do have a long-term position in BNGO where I'm looking at it to get up here and test above 1550. Nothing new really coming out of BNGO. Other than there was a kind of a peer review. They were quoted in like two articles, I think, last week. And, but there's always these little mini catalysts with BNGO. If you've been following me, I feel like I say that every day. But, it seems like they're always dropping good news, but the company can never get past. They'll go on a little run and get hammered right back down. So that's BNGO. Space, I don't have a position in, but I just want to see where we're at with it. I know that stock got hit really hard. Yeah, so it hit a high of 41 yesterday, down to 36 in after hours, and looks like it's coming back up to 37 right now. That one baffles me. $60 in pre-market on that Monday morning. I mean, I know they did that direct offering or the offering to get 500 million shares out there, but I mean, they had a successful flight with the owner, on board and stuff. I would have thought that stock would have took off. AMC got hit pretty hard the other day. I think we saw as low as $36 in after hours yesterday, but it does look like it's starting to rally back. And AMC has a huge community behind it. I feel like every time it gets cheap, people jump in and drive this price right back up. It wouldn't shock me to see it, get back into this $45 range today, just based off pure retail hype and people running in and buying this stock up. GameStop today, the big speculation was that we were going to get some sort of announcement. I'm doing really bad at pulling up the stock I want. There we go. GameStop. Getting the announcement about the NFT this morning, or at some point. Anyone who's unaware, there was a crypto token or NFT that was referenced on their website, nft.gamestop.com. And, it looked as though potentially they were going to maybe announce some sort of dividend or come out with some sort of announcement. I think the creation date for that NFT, when somebody kind of looked up the blockchain information on it, was July 14th. So for the longest time, the speculation's been that GameStop was going to make some sort of announcement before the 14th. Haven't seen anything yet today. Could be another disappointing day. GameStop's basically been, after hitting 350 again on June 8th, just kind of trading sideways and, get manipulated, getting hammered down. But we are seeing a new floor. I know I was calling out the floor at 200 last week, but we are sitting here at 180 right now. And, after the last big run up to 350, they were able to push this stock down to 118. So if 180 is the new bottom, that will be, that should be pretty good. Let's see here. All right. CLOV. Kind of the same. I mean, we did get, it looks like we're retracing all the way back to kind of where this whole thing kicked off. At first it looked like we were finding support at 10. Then now it's looking like 9. I know we closed under 9, but there's been a ton of buying support coming in at $9 recently. And I think at some point we're gonna find the bottom here and start this reversal. I really thought we had it on Monday. Yesterday we came down and touched right around 9, got into that $9 range and bounced off it a couple times and then hit as high as 950, and then just got hammered down right before the close. We did see a ton of volume pickup for a second day in a row on CLOV in after hours, or not after hours, I'm sorry, in power hour. But this time it was kind of like downward pressure. So we'll have to see what happens. It looks like we've kind of been rallying a little bit here in pre-market. I know in terms of, and I'll get to the comments in a second. Sorry, guys. I just want to kind of get through all this. So just looking at this information, like iBorrow Desk, let's see if it's updated yet today. It has, and it looks like there was some 1.3 million shares returned according to iBorrowDesk, and again, they're only tracking interactive brokers. 13% borrow fee, and then Ortex, we're looking at 26% short interest being reported by Ortex, 45 million shares on loan. That's significantly lower than what we were seeing yesterday, which was, I think, about 53 million. So about a net return of 8 million shares, and utilization has gone down to 82. And Ortex tracks its own set of brokers. Ortex right now is showing borrow change of 4 million. So 4 million shares being borrowed as of this morning with an 8% short interest change. So potentially the shares that got returned yesterday are going to start going back out today. I would prepare for some sort of short attack. Cost to borrow is sitting at an average of 9 right now. I'll be keeping an eye on that. And then I also was looking at Fintel's data this morning. They're reporting a short interest of 35. 35 million shares. Is that similar to? No. Oh, that's the exchange reported. So I guess Fintel's, this is old info. I was trying to see what was going on with Fintel. It looks like it looks like Fintel is using the same data as interactive brokers. When you look at, for instance, last update 26 minutes ago, and they're showing 3.5 million available. That pretty much lines up with what iBorrowDesk is putting up there. So either way, all right. Let me get to the also some announcements about Medicare last night. That could be good for CLOV as well. I'm surprised I don't see any of that on the news ticker over here. But that's the way it's been working, right? We don't get the positive news. We get filtered with a bunch of other news about other stocks and memes and Wall Street bets and basically hit pieces on the stock. So let's see what's happening. So ATOS again breaking over 750 is the next big number for that one. Let me roll all the way back here to the get back to some of these comments, and then we'll start getting into some more stuff. Once the morning wrap up is covered, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on some of the shroom stocks emerging. You know what? I don't really know much about it. You mean like the psychedelics and all that? I haven't really been paying much attention to it. I remember, I think it was MNMD or something like that was getting a lot of hype maybe about a month ago. But I haven't really looked into it too much. So I can't. Oh, okay. Now I just see that you put up there MNMD. Yeah. I don't know much about it in terms of the psychedelics and stuff like that. But I do have a friend who talks about that kind of stuff all the time. Not actually psychedelic drugs, but all those stocks. So I could try to get some more info. I keep saying I'm so wrapped up in like these 5 stocks that I'm in right now, and it really feels like a lot. And it's funny, I was talking to my neighbor the other day, like I just want one of these plays to finish. Like let's say ATOS kicks off their gamma squeeze today, I can cash out. Obviously, I want to build on my position with CLOV right now, but at the same time, start researching and getting into a new play and being able to kind of broaden my mind and do some more reading and finding the next play. So I'm looking forward to that. Ego, what's up? Thanks for joining again. Adnan, what's up? Joseph says ATOS Rockets. Let's see it. I really think today looks promising for ATOS. I really do. YOLO 5,000 shares on ATOS at 535. Okay, so you're looking good. Let's see. Justin says gap down or up on CLOV. I don't know. Definitely weird. We are green. Yeah, we're getting green right now in pre-market. We'll have to see what happens. And it looks like GameStop. Oh, no, still down, but I was started to see some green coming in over there. I'm gonna take this space ticker off and probably put up. You guys want to, and I'll tell as I get through the chats, I'll see. But let's look at AMC. AMC seems like it's running today, and I know some of you guys got positions in AMC, so It's down right now, but I've been seeing that was more from like after hours yesterday. The pre-market looks pretty promising there. I might, and it is holding above VWAP. I'm not sure what the volume is right now, but um, at 1.8 million, that's not a lot for AMC at least. All right, let's see here. Do you think the 3 trillion bill will pass and affect the CLOV stock? Yeah, I mean, I think not to get into politics or anything, but just in general, like with Democrats control right now, they seem to be more favorable towards Medicare and Medicare plans, and maybe even lowering the age. So I think in general it'll be more favorable for these stocks that are offering like Clove and many other companies that are into these MA plans and we'll have to see how it goes, but I do think that the news last night could potentially be positive, or will be positive for the Clove stock. But we also, I mean, that bill has to get passed too. So um, I think we're still in the early stages of seeing how this is going to play out. What are good exit points for ATOS, and can you check the short interest? Yeah, I should have waited too because I kind of went over that a little bit, like at the very beginning. But somebody asked the question, and I will. So, my plan is this, and let me pull up the short interest on ATOS too. But every gamma squeeze that I've been a part of, and I don't want to say every, but most of them kind of die out. Um, right at the top of the option chain. Now, obviously, this is also a stock that has some short interest in it as well. 16 short interest, estimated 20 of this free float. Let me get this out of the way. Um, somewhat high cost to borrow. And it does look like we have a borrow change today, so short interest is going to be up. So this is somewhat of a short squeeze play too. So that being said, as we start to get up there and maybe get towards the top of the option chain, which is 16, I'm gonna be looking for exit points at that point. And honestly, when we get upwards of 16, like blow past 16, if we're lucky enough to see that happen, I'm probably gonna cut maybe like 20% to 30% of my position. Just because at that point I'll be, have some really decent profit and then kind of make a decision with the other 70% of my contracts. But um, you know, I really I've seen a lot of these get upwards and hit that kind of that top of the option chain, and then what happens is, I mean, we could end up seeing some shorts covering, which would maybe propel us up to like 20-ish, and you could see FOMO buying, which would propel us up even higher. But I could see realistically hitting upwards of like 20 or 24. But it could also just get, once we hit 16, start heading back down, because these gamma squeezes have a reverse effect. Once people start taking profits and the stock goes back down below, you'll see it start to unhedge. Especially if it happens like on a Friday. But if it was to kick off today, I could see it maybe getting a little bit higher. This is all speculation, though. It's the don't blink week for ATOS. Yeah, I mean this thing could happen fast too. I'm gonna be pretty glued to the computer today. Um, let's see. David saying there will be no announcement. I believe you're referencing GameStop. I know I'm hella far behind, but I did see that come in there. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna announce anything on GameStop either. I'll be shocked if they do. I think if they were gonna do something, they would have said it like a week ago, in anticipation of this day. I think it's just a lot of hopium. Um, let's see here. Jawad, good morning. Jawad's actually the one that put me up on ATOS. He called it out a couple weeks ago, and then I went and did my own research and started looking at the option chain, and that's kind of when I figured out that this was a play I wanted to get into. So thanks again, man. if this ends up panning out, I'm gonna owe you one, because it's looking really strong right now. Let's see. Chef Daddy's in the house. What's up? Really appreciate the analysis and roundtable vids. Keep it going. Right on. So those roundtables, and I don't want to speak out of pocket, but I'm pretty sure that we're looking at not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday to do another one. And I don't know if this has been announced yet, but I want to say Tar Heel's going to host the next one, which I think is going to be pretty cool. Al showed Fintel not updating for 2 days. I'm not sure about that. I didn't check out his newest video, but that could be the case. And I feel like a lot of these things are off too. It's kind of hard to see what's real and what's not, or what's being updated and what's not. I know Ortex has already had some problems in the past, and yesterday seeing all those shares returned and utilization and everything drop as if people were covering, but the price went down instead of up was a little strange. So VN, good morning, coach. If short interest rate is low, does that mean more short sellers? Like the cost to borrow, you mean? So if the cost to borrow is low, that maybe it's more enticing for short sellers. I don't understand the question. If that is the question, I would say yeah. The lower cost to borrow would make it probably a little bit more enticing to invite short sellers back in, where a high cost to borrow would maybe deter them from shorting the stock, or even kind of entice them to cover. So Lisa, what's up? Thanks for joining again. I appreciate it. New to stocks, ATOS was my first buy, looking good. Yeah, and it really, I mean, depending on where you got in, ATOS, I mean, for anyone who's unfamiliar with it, because I jumped in this strictly for like the gamma squeeze. I've said that a couple times, but this stock was trading. It was a penny stock not too long ago, trading at 80 cents. I know if you look back, there was some higher highs, way back when, but 80 cents not too long ago. I mean, even as close as April, it was trading at $1.50, and recently went up and hit 10. So, and I really think we have the potential to hit 16. So, you're probably looking really good right now, especially hopefully you got in way down here. You're looking amazing. Good morning, Dave. Yeah. Oh, my bad too. I'm gonna get after today's stream. I'm gonna hit you up if you're free, Dave. But yeah, ATOS is looking strong right now. It really is, and I really think. Let's see if we got updated options data yet. See, yesterday I pulled it up on my Street Smart Edge, my Schwab app, and I feel like I'm like leaning over right now. It's driving me nuts. I'll just do this. I'm used to sitting back, but then ever since I got the microphone, I've been like hunched over. So, we haven't seen updated option data. Yesterday, I pulled it up on my Street Smart Edge on my Charles Schwab, and I like customized it. So it just had the delta, the volume, and all that stuff. Oh, there we go. We just got our updated options data. All right. It just popped in as we were talking about it. What time? Oh, that's because it's 6:30. Let's check out the open, and then we'll come back to that. And I'll keep going through the comments. So there we go. Zoom in a little bit here. And all right, I think I got everything set up right now. See, is there any big movers so far? S&P 500 looks like it's up about 0.5%. I think Jay Powell is speaking today too, so always got to, be prepared for whatever happens with that. You get the knee jerk reactions for the market. So, something to look out. I don't know what time he's speaking. I'll have to check in a second here. Scotty, what's up? Thanks for joining again. Let's see. I'll see. Yeah, I'm behind. What is Powell going to talk about today? Can he be more dovish on the SPY than he already is, or on the economy than he already is? Yeah, I'm not sure. I know he's speaking today. I don't know. I mean, every time he says something, even when he's trying to help, and you could tell sometimes he's trying to hold off the bears and the knee jerk reaction, and still it's just whenever he talks, you'll see, some sort of spike in the markets overall. Looks like space is kind of seeing a big green candle right now. Maybe I should take CLOV off the monitor, and that's what we need to be a catalyst, is for us to stop watching it. As soon as I took space off over here, it's starting to jump a little. I mean, it's still down on the day. I'm just joking, but let's see what happens. 5 minutes to open. Not bad pre-market movement on the plus side, but brace yourself for the market open ladder attacks. Don't panic. Hold. Co-creator dropping knowledge right now. It looks like we hit as low as 881. We're obviously still in the first 2 minutes. Just got to see what happens. Shorts are sweating. ATOS will continue to hit those strikes as it goes up. Really bullish for the gamma. Me too. After seeing yesterday's movement, it's like it kind of got to a point, and we'll get over to the charts in a second, or the option chain. I'll pull it back up in a second. But I don't see how they can control it at this point. I mean, there's just so many calls that are deep in the money already that still need to be hedged. And it's just every minute that goes by, the delta's increasing, and it's gonna cause the stock to continue to rise. I mean, I really think that they lost control on ATOS, and we're gonna see this thing probably even today. So, again, that's just my speculation, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but that's what I'm thinking. Is that we're gonna see some payoff in ATOS today. Got in around 515, right on. I mean, that looks like a great entry point considering where we're trading right now, and I think we're going to see it go a lot higher today. Jay, what's up? I saw you in Tar Heels too yesterday on the chat. How do you get it with no name? I never seen that before. Just out of curiosity. Can you raise your mic volume? It's a bit low. I think it might be so for some reason, I got to figure this mic out too. But I think what it is the volume of the mic is up, but the mic needs to kind of be like in my face for it to sound good. And so as I lean back, I think I kind of get too far away, and I think I talk low in the mornings too. So I'll try to stay close to it, but I had to raise it up because I felt like I was hunched over too much. Hopefully that helps. Massive volume at CLOV of the open. Oh, yeah, it is. Thanks, co-creator, for pointing that out. We're at 2.3 million on this 5 minute candle, and we still got a minute left. So we are seeing some volume this morning. Johnny L. Been in ATOS since 150. That sounds awesome. Good morning, Jason. Thanks for coming back in. Okay, D Worm says Powell says he won't taper anytime soon. Coach, do we average down on CLOV or buy ATOS? I would say, average down on CLOV. Like for me, ATOS is a very, very high risk play. I mean, and really, because this gamma squeeze does look very, very promising today, but I mean, this is obviously a highly manipulated stock, just like CLOV, but it seems like there's much more room to drop in ATOS. I mean, looking where it was at. I'm not saying it's going to drop back down here. I just, this has great gamma squeeze potential right now, but I don't know that I would, load up on a that's just my thing. So what I did with ATOS is I bought a bunch of call options, and the reason is it's minimizes my risk, right? It is a risk. If it doesn't happen, I know that I'm losing the money, so I'm playing with money that I'm willing to lose. It's more of a bet, a high risk bet that I think is gonna have a high risk payoff. Um, but I still think, in the grand scheme of things, long term, I think CLOV is the play, and whether as fundamentally or as a short squeeze. But I mean, if you have money to do both too, I think that'd be awesome. I mean, I know I'm doing both. I mean, I upped a little bit of my ATOS contracts yesterday, but I also added on to my CLOV position yesterday. So kind of looking at both right now. And we are looking pretty green right now for cloves. So maybe we'll get our green day back. And again with Ortex, it's showing a net borrow of 3 million shares now. So not really sure what's going on with that data. And ATOS is past $7, and the big key point there is 750. I'm still not caught up with the chat. Um, Says my PC volume is max and your voice is low. Yeah, I don't know, Dave. Is it your YouTube volume? Sometimes it's that too. I've noticed that where I'm watching a YouTube thing and I have my computer turned up all the way and I can't figure it out. And there's that little volume thing on your YouTube channel that sometimes you could turn up. Maybe Nolan could help you. What's up, Nolan? Nolan's my webull advisor. I just switched to webull like 2 weeks ago, and Nolan's always helping me out. He's kind of like my webull mentor. Also, if anyone wants to check out webull, I think I put a link in the description. If you sign up, you get 2 free stocks, and I get 2 free stocks, or some amount of stocks, or something like that. But it sounds good. So, if you feel like checking it out, there is a link there that'll help support me and support you. We'll both get some free stuff. Leo DiMartino, what's up? Good morning. There you go. That's exactly what I was saying. Take a small position in ATOS and roll it into CLOV. That's what I'm looking like. You could put down a little bet in ATOS with some with some contracts or something like that, and and then maybe roll it back in. Johnny L says he's making money saving boobies on ATOS. So for those of you that don't know, ATOS's big thing is breast cancer. So absolutely. Coach, what do you think on MRIN and SGOCO? So I haven't done a lot of looking into SGOCO. Someone asked me about MRIN a while back, and so I have been following MRIN a lot. I think it was D Worm was in on MRIN, and so I was looking at it, and it just seems insane. Their short interest numbers. I'm gonna pull it up right now and see where it's at today too. Um, let's see here. MRIN. But we even looked yesterday, and it's like it was a high utilization rate. The short interest was through the roof, and so was the cost to borrow. Let's see. So, get this out of the way. Estimated short interest, 98% short. um, you know, and cost to borrow, average of 208. Or no, I'm sorry, I'm looking. Cost to borrow right now is 246. Um, Coming down here. It looks like some shares are being returned today. Not a huge change in short interest. I don't know much about the company. I do know that they had a huge move recently, and it looks like there's still a ton of short interest in there. So with a high cost to borrow, so I don't know. Let's see here. Chart bottom right, turn off auto. Oh, Nolan, you're just giving me the tips that you gave yesterday, I think. Unless you're telling me you want me to move the chart over a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see. All right, I really got to start catching up. I'm just gonna scroll through. I might not get to all these comments. Um, Vincent says I'll be the next roaring kitty leading us to fight the hedgies. Hey, that would be awesome. I'm having fun doing this. I'm really not looking forward to going back to school. And don't get me wrong, I love my job, but I've been having so much fun doing this live stream every day. And once I go back to school, I'm gonna have to figure out how to make it work. But I'm still probably gonna keep doing the mornings. I just may have to cut it short by a half hour or something like that. Um, I mean, for those of you that have been following, I did cross 1,000 recently. So I was able to monetize my channel. I have no idea how much money that's going to be. I don't imagine it's going to be anything that's going to allow me to, minimize my hours at work or anything like that. But if it is, that'd be awesome because I really do enjoy doing this. Co-creator says CLOV is diverging from AMC again, and this is good. Yeah, we the days where we kind of get stuck trading with the memes, and the meme stocks have been going down recently and kind of getting hit hard. Hasn't haven't really been good for us, but like Monday we diverged from there, and Monday was a green day. Monday was a good one. Nolan says auto scroll the Y axis. I don't know, Nolan. I'm gonna have to get on the phone with you one day and have you help me figure this out. uh oh, not quit coaching football. I'm talking about quitting not quitting either, but maybe like kind of dialing it back a little on teaching. Because I teach. I don't really get paid much for coaching football. High school football, we get a stipend, but it's nothing. I mean, I do it because I love it and having fun and um I've been doing it for about 20 years now, but I don't think I'll ever fully give up coaching football, even if I kind of step back and just take like somewhat of a passive, more of like a mentor strategy or just helping out. But I would never be able to give up completely. I love it too much. Although with my kids getting older, I have been talking about, potentially stepping back a little bit from coaching and being able to watch my kids a lot more because now they're getting into sports. So, but no, I was just saying I'm really enjoying doing this. Auto scroll Y axis with auto button off. All right, let me check something real quick. I got to see what access. Okay, so auto Y axis and then turn the auto off. I hope I'm doing that right, Nolan. Um, Says coach isn't like the hedgies. It isn't all about the money. No, absolutely. Like I said, I've been coaching for 20 years, and it's I just like doing it, and that's why I got into teaching. I've only been teaching for 5 years, but I just enjoy like learning myself and then helping other people learn. So, and I'm learning every day about football, about stocks, you know, about the subjects I teach. It's just I'm always reading, and I feel like you can always learn more, no matter what you're doing. Um, all right, so let's talk about the option chain real quick because I know some of you guys are in here. Hey, we want to talk about ATOS and how this works, and I'll even I'm gonna make this big real quick, unless this is big enough to see. So we're really, I mean, we saw a huge upgrade here in these numbers. 40,000 at the $5 strike, 30,000 at the 550, 41,000. All of these are in the money right now, and the delta is just continuing to increase on all these contracts. Um, there's still 25% here at the $6 strike that need to be hedged, and that's 30 million or 3 million shares roughly. So what is that? A quarter of that, 750,000 shares that are going to continue to be hedged as we go up. And I'm not even including the 16% at the 550 strike, which is basically another 2 million shares. So 200,000. So that's a million shares right there between these two that need to be hedged if the stock stays at its current price. Now, I don't think it's going to stay at its current price because as those shares get hedged, it's going to push us higher. And if we can cross 750, we're really looking at some amazing numbers here. And this number, this 0.43 delta, wasn't there yesterday. So we really do need to get upwards of 750, or we're going to see some unwinding of the option chain as well. So right now, we're looking at basically a 5 million share difference, because there's about 50,000 contract differential here and 5 million shares. It looks like 40% of those. So that's another 2.5 million shares that can be unhedged there. So this option chain just looks absolutely ridiculous right now, especially considering the float size. So, but we are going to see resistance as we try to pass those numbers. And I think 750 is going to be our big price target with ATOS today. If we cross that, and I think we're really going to see this thing kick off. Do you think CLOV will benefit from the new Medicare bill? I do. We obviously need to see what happens with it, and if it gets passed. I think we just gotta wait and see. But yeah, I do. I don't know. I didn't watch anything last night to actually see what's going on, but I did read some posts and and saw some comments people had left on Twitter and some other things. And I know that's not the best place to get information. I usually like to read up and do my own due diligence. But, I think if we're expanding Medicare, the insurance providers that are in the Medicare industry and field, that serve Medicare clients, I guess I should say, are going to benefit from that. I really do. So I think it should be a positive for CLOV, but we got to let it play out and see how it goes. All right. So let's see. So CLOV hanging out above VWAP. That's where we want to be, right? We want to be here above this volume weighted average price. So looking decent there. My poor GameStop is under 180. Man, AMC down 5% on the day, trading at $37. I really thought that there would be some sort of excitement in AMC today. If you're joining and you're new in here, I don't have a position in AMC, but I like to keep it up here sometimes because I know some of you guys do. ATOS, it looks strong. We got up to 715. We're still kind of in that opening 20, 30 minutes, though. We got to see where these stocks kind of, let them kind of create their opening range and get going. And then I think we'll see things start to move. Just looking around. So BNGO is down 2.5%, fell below $6 now. Trading at 593. AVXL down 3%. 2460. Let's see here. Trying to pull up ones we don't have. Okay, so space down 1.5%. Currently trading at 3713. The S&P 500 is up 0.4. And MRIN I put up here too because someone asked about it. So down 5%, trading at 1369. SGOCO going nuts today. I have no idea what that is. SGOCO. Let's see what's going on there. Up 60%. So I'm assuming that's a gap up off yesterday or no? Oh, from $8 went up this morning to 12 and now it's 16. Yeah. Is that kind of news based or what's going on there? Let me see. Get that back in there. SGOCO. Regains compliance with NASDAQ after filing annual report. All right. I'm going to check the news on the spy right now. Does anyone know what time is Jerome Powell supposed to speak? All right, there we go. Got CLOV back up there. Looks like CLOV has a little bit of resistance on level 2 at 920, 923, 925. But nothing major. 15,000, 12,000. You know, no ridiculously huge numbers. I want to check the order book for ATOS. ATOS 685, a little bit of resistance there. A lot of support coming in here though at 650, 645, 660. Yesterday I noticed too when ATOS started getting down a little bit. We saw a ton of support coming in behind it at 6 to kind of hold those levels up. So I do think we have some. There we go. I do think we have some whales or some big time support in here that's going to try to prop this thing up and see this thing kick off. Let's see. $9:15 a.m. Okay. All right. Hey, coach, can you put some color on XSPA? I don't know nothing about that either. I'll try to. You know what? Where's my pen at? There's some of these other ones that people were asking me to look at. I'll check them out. And then the other one was SGOCO. I gotta write these things down so I could look at them after the stream. Sometimes it's hard to like, or in the middle of the stream start looking into stuff. Because you guys will probably get bored sitting there just watching me read. Hoping this is the bottom and sideways action on CLOV. Yeah, me too. I mean, I think we just need to find that bottom and then start reversing the trend, and it's gonna happen at some point. And this stock is extremely cheap right now at $9. I really believe that. I had a couple friends actually hit me up yesterday, like, "Hey, should I still be buying CLOV? Should I still be buying CLOV?" And my answer is this: like, just because it's going down, I mean, this is a highly manipulated stock, and I think this is really, I truly believe, without a short squeeze, this is still a great buy for CLOV. I mean, CLOV is a tremendous long-term play. In the shorter term, I think this stock is going to see $20 to $30 without a squeeze, and in the long term, years from now, this is a triple-digit stock. That's what I believe. And I think that's what makes it such a great entry point for a squeeze play, because, and again, I'm not hating on any other squeeze plays. I'm in on GameStop. I have friends who are in on AMC. I want to see all of them succeed, and I think they all will. But just from a pure entry point the standpoint of entering into a stock right now for a short squeeze, you're getting into one that has triple up potential without the squeeze even happening. So that's my take. Um, and I know that's not your question that you asked. I just thought about that right now, and it's like I really do think CLOV is a great position right now as a long term investment or as a short squeeze play. It will be streamed live on PBS on YouTube. Okay. Um, Tapering still a ways off. Inflation will remain elevated in coming months. Marathon says check out FDVRF. I got to figure out. I know there's a way to do like a poll, on now that I have the community tab on the YouTube channel. And one of the things I was thinking about doing was maybe listing like 6 stocks or something, and just letting everyone kind of figure out or vote on like what stock should start covering next. Kind of see what you guys all think. Um, Tar Heels in the house. What's up? Morning, gents. The central bank chief is set to speak before the House Committee on Financial Services at noon. He is scheduled to testify before the Senate on Thursday. Could you pull live Ortex on CARV? It got removed off everyone's short interest list. Yeah, that was number one on Fintel yesterday too. Number one short squeeze, but I also I think I tried to look up CARV yesterday because I saw it number one on Fintel's short squeeze list, and I couldn't find the short interest either. Let's see. So CARV estimated short interest to free float as of this morning is 28%. Cost to borrow 122, 95 utilization. A borrow change today of 117 so far. Average cost to borrow 220. Short interest change 9.5%. Yeah, I want to say that was number one on Fintel. I could check. Let me see. Oh, that changed. Now they're saying MRIN is the number one. I'll just pull this over real quick. This is as of right now what Fintel is showing as, and this is off from yesterday. I think this has changed, but they're saying that MRIN is the number one short squeeze. CARV is now number two. Yeah, I could have swore CARV was number one yesterday, but yeah. These numbers just change every day, though, right? It just has to do with how the what happens, how many shares are returned, cost to borrow, all that kind of stuff. Let's see. ATOS can run if she goes above 750. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. We really need to get this up. I mean, holding above 6 is going to be good in itself. The longer that we could stay above 6, the closer we get to Friday, that's going to continue to, the support's going to build in the chain. But we need to start pushing upwards of 750 because otherwise that 750 mark is going to start unwinding in Delta. So, getting up there today would be absolutely amazing, and I think really kick this thing off. think you should implement voting buttons. Yeah, I was thinking about that last night. Like, I have that community tab now. And I'm just learning how to use all this stuff, and it's like whenever I've been getting free time, I keep, messing around on my phone, but then on your phone, it's not the same. You got to be sitting at the computer to really see all the options and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to try to start doing some fun stuff like that. Let's see. Vincent says CLOV is ripping off. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, if we can get, we're continuing. This looks nice, natural. We're kind of up, down. Probably looks better on a 1 minute chart. I just changed it on the wrong one. Let's see. 1 minute chart probably looks more, yeah, kind of like climbing a ladder. We're going up, step down. We stayed above VWAP, up a little bit more, and now we're continuing. Um, just slowly climbing up, and I think maybe this will be a nice little green day for us again. ATOS has a gap to fill at 639. You know what? I was gonna pull up the daily chart to check that out too, because it says it's up 4.5%, but it looks down. So I figured there has to be a gap in here, and absolutely. We also have a gap up to fill too, though. I kind of did this morning, up to 720. So yeah, we could end up seeing this go down to 635 ish. Before we see this popping back up. It seems like there has been a lot of gaps in this run though, and not all of them have potentially been filled. So maybe so. This does look like a really clean chart. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me to see it come down and touch this kind of 630-ish level and then take back off. And that potentially looks at what's happening right now. We're at 650. Scotty says SCARV is horrendous. Um, Nobody wants any part of that. Trust me. I don't know anything about it at all. I just remember seeing it as seeing it as the number one on Fintel in terms of but I don't know. I don't know a damn thing. I don't know what they do, anything. How are we feeling about ATOS after 1 hour? I'm still feeling just as strong. It's this option chain is just absolutely insane. Stairway to heaven, stair step to heaven, but stairway to heaven on CLOV. Fingers crossed. Absolutely. Are you on top chat, coach? You've glossed over my last 10 comments. I think I'm on top chat, but maybe not. Did I skip some? I think I'm on top chat. I believe so. Let's see. Scotty says they're a trash bank out in New York City, maybe based in the Bronx. Scotty does a ton of work in the city. Not a good reputation. Okay. Scotty says short him. Let's see. Chef Daddy said that's the one that messed him up on Friday. Yeah. No, I don't know anything about it. I don't even know anything about MRIN other than that I saw the ridiculous short interest. And co-creator, if I did gloss over one, put it back in there and I'll find it. It looks like I think I'm all caught up now. Most recent comment was from Target short sellers. AMC is falling like a rock. There we go. Let's see what is happening with AMC. 36.73, down 6%. Yeah, I mean it I don't even want to attempt to do any sort of technical analysis or anything like that. But it felt like AMC was, had that nice base at like between 45 and 50 ish, and I was kind of shocked to see it down here at in the 30s. Um, Adnan says ATOS is crashing. Nah, I wouldn't necessarily say that. You know, target short sellers pointed out, and very very good point. And if you've been following on this channel, I've talked about it quite a lot. Gap fills and how they tend to happen, and a lot of time it's because it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But we did see a gap up here today from 636 ish. Let me see if I can get right in there to 681. And a lot of times you'll have buyers kind of waiting if a stock starts moving downwards to see that gap get filled before you'll start seeing the buying come pouring back in. And that could be what's happening here. So, I think if we kind of let it see it come down, and that might have been enough even. It doesn't have to be like too precise, but if you see it come down and kind of get near that level, that may be enough. Right? It looks like we touched 640. 640 the low here on this last candle. Yeah, 642 ish. But I don't think it's crashing. If CLOV can somehow hit 10 and stays until Friday, it will trigger the call options and it will be fun. I don't know necessarily. So like, let's pull up the CLOV option chain. Let's see here. Really what we want to see is CLOV probably get into like the $12 range to see some stuff kick off there. So right now, and I haven't looked at the chain yet today, so it looks like at 10 is where we're at, where we have a net difference of 13,000 calls for this week. And at 11, we have a net difference of 8,000 calls. And at 12, only a difference of 4,000. However, I pointed this out yesterday on the August 20th chain at 1250, we have a net difference of 18,000 calls. So, and the delta on that is still pretty decent, 0.34. So, and that would continue to rise as the stock does. So there is a huge gamma squeeze potential here with CLOV, but we need to get it in, I would say, before Friday. So, if we just closed above 10 on Friday, basically all this other gamma potential in there is going to be gone. So we'd want this to happen like, today, tomorrow, get above 10. And, as we push above those numbers, you'll start to see, for instance, right now at 10, the delta's only at 0.28. That is a difference of 13,000 shares. That's 1.3 million shares. So as we get above 10 and maybe get up to like 1050, if we were able to, and let's say do it today or tomorrow, that's going to help push us up a little bit, and just on this hedging taking place. And as we get to the $11 strike, 8,000 difference isn't ridiculously huge, but you'll start to see this get hedged even more. And I think 12 is kind of the magic number to really kick this thing off. I think there's so much open interest between all of the option expirations, and especially if we can get to 15 or 20. And even if it doesn't happen this week, there's the August chain is starting to load up, and the weeklies and everything else. But there is potential for a gamma squeeze this week, but we need buying pressure to get us probably to about $12. I know that seems like a lot considering where CLOV's at right now and where it's been, but we've been dropping crazily. But look at June 7th. We went from 944 to 1206 in one day. Okay, intraday. And what happened the very next day? That's when the gamma squeeze kicked off. So kind of the same thing. I mean, if this could happen today where we get And that wasn't on a ton of volume either. I mean, 119 volume is high, but that we saw some other days where volume was like 300. If all of a sudden we could see the buying pressure to move this stock up to like $11 or $12, the same thing we saw on June 7th, we'll probably gap up tomorrow and see this sort of gamma squeeze pressure again. The only difference now is the option chain goes up to 43, and back then it only went up to, I think, 22. So there's definitely potential, but we want to happen before Friday. Just expiring in the money at $10 on Friday isn't going to give us that push that we're looking for to blow out the chain. All right, co-creator. Why do you think CLOV didn't see the usual morning ladder attacks? Why did the hedge funds or algorithms back off? You know what? I have no idea, man. I mean, I was expecting kind of a morning attack too, just because, looking at Ortex data, and we'll take a look at it again right now. We are seeing a net difference of 1.9 million shares borrowed today, and then on iBorrowDesk, we're seeing some returned. So, basing this off yesterday's numbers, we saw 1.2 million returned. Now, the other thing, though, and this is, I know Tar Heel kind of talked about this yesterday on his stream, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, how is it that yesterday, like 8 million shares got returned and utilization was previously high? Everything else, we had been getting attacked left and right. We're seeing the stock go down. 8 million shares get returned yesterday and the stock goes down. That doesn't seem like people covered. I don't know. And I know there's been a lot of shorts coming in through the dark pool. And there's been some really good DD on that. And, it could be that maybe some covered in the dark pool. I mean, there's plenty of possibilities out there. But yeah, I'm not sure where the ladder attacks are. Maybe they're quitting. Maybe they're out of firepower. But I doubt that's the case. I think maybe they're waiting to, maybe they're holding off their dry powder to prevent us from passing 10. If I was a short in CLOV, wouldn't you just let it run up and start the process over? Beating a dead horse here, nothing left to short here. Yeah, I guess, but I mean, then you'd have to cover, right? And I think that's the whole point of it. So if you were short in CLOV right now, you're saying you would get out, but then if you get out, depending on how deep these shorts are, that's going to drive the price up. And I think kind of the mindset of a lot of these people is, yeah, you have your retail shorters that are coming in just to hammer down the stock a little bit and make a quick daily profit or a swing trade profit. But then some of these other guys I think are in for a little bit different reasons, right? Like they're looking at, um, you know, and this could just be conspiracy theory stuff, but I think some of these people that are shorting the stock are trying to prevent CLOV from succeeding, or at least slow them down as a company. It's um, for other reasons. Obviously, everyone's doing it to make a profit too, but I think they want to see this thing get lower. I think they want to hammer it down to 6. They want to hammer it down to 5. They want to get it down so low that everybody who's holding the stock starts selling, and then what happens if they get it down to 6 or 5 and we all sell? It's going to drop it down to 3 or 2, and that's where and then they're going to try to bankrupt the company. I think that's what a lot of these hedge funds try to do, is really step in and hammer it down. Now, that being said, to get back to your point, in the event of a short squeeze, right, or even a gamma squeeze or whatever, I do think that a lot of the shorts would get out and then try to time the top. So, and I think that probably happened even back here. When we saw this big run up on that day, I think it was mostly attributed to gamma squeeze on June 8th. But once we got up here upwards of 28, I think a lot of new shorts piled in here, and they're not feeling the pain right now. I mean, we're trading at $9, so we need to get back into that $20 range, $30 range, and make this become unprofitable for them. Hope that answered your question. I just started rambling on there for a second. Let's see, $12 magic number. Yeah, in terms of a gamma squeeze this week, we need to get to about 12, I think. I don't remember the last time I saw a green morning for CLOV in the first hour. What makes today's technicals and data any different from all other mornings? I mean, I normally don't look at a 1 minute chart unless I'm day trading, but just to take a look at it, just because I feel like I'm not getting much out of a 5 minute right now. And a lot of times it's like that in a 5 minute candle early on. I know Tar Heel likes to look at the 10 minute, but I mean, I know I'm not really seeing anything from a technical standpoint right now. I mean, this was looking strong right here, these bottoms, but it looks like we kind of broke out of that just now. You know, if you just kind of connect the dots on these bottoms right here, it looks like we were talking about just kind of stair stepping up, but then we kind of broke out. But I think, you know, on the longer term, you know, if we can kind of hold here, maybe even hold above VWAP, you know, we are continuing to climb, I think. You know, it'd be really nice to stay above this volume weighted average price. Um, you know, on a 4 hour chart, we could just take a look. Why my webull does that? I'll turn the MACD on too, because I know I was talking about this the other day. But we did cross. You know what? I'm getting out of this. I'm gonna pull it up on my other. I made this over here specifically to do this crap with, and I started doing it over there. All right, here we go. On a 4 hour time frame. There we go. You know, I mean, we've been running hot on the MACD. You know, if we continue kind of to move up, it looks like, you know, it was getting close to crossing over down here, but now we've been going green again. Let me turn off the extended hours, and RSI is still in the low range, which I think is kind of good for us as well. I think I mean, honestly, co-creator, I have no idea. You know, this is kind of, you know, in terms of what we've been used to over the last couple weeks, you know, this is looking pretty positive right now. At least to be riding up here green right now, especially when a lot of these other stocks aren't. I mean, I know ATOS is, but that's kind of its own play. But AMC down 8%, GameStop down 1% right now. You know, a lot of these other stocks aren't really doing as hot right now. And to be positive, it does seem like we're diverging from everything else. Um, like I said, just one thing that I'm looking at in the short term right now is I'd love to hold above VWAP and see if we can continue kind of this stepping up. Dave says, I said this yesterday. There are not many shares left to short on CLOV. The market makers and hedge funds will have no choice but to cover their short positions, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, so you would think that, right? That there's not many shares left to short, but we saw 8 million shares returned yesterday, according to Ortex. That's what I don't get. You know, sometimes this data, what I really wish Ortex would do that iBorrowDesk does is show you how many are available. You know, so like, and what I mean by that is, okay, so we're looking at Ortex data, right? Um, you know, and okay, we could see that at the start of today there was 45 million shares on loan. And then you come down here and see, okay, well, 1 million, 1.9 million were borrowed, so 2 million more. So it's like, kind of do the math together. That's 46, 48 shares are on loan right now. But I've seen this number as high as 60 million. So does that mean that there's 12 million available? You know, it's really hard to know. And I don't think that necessarily means there's 12 million available, because not all shares are constantly available on loan, right? Like if someone else bought those shares and they're not willing to lend them out, or if a certain institution decides they don't want to lend those shares out anymore, now there's less shares available. So, you know, that's what I do like about iBorrowDesk. You know, iBorrowDesk, will show you exactly how many are available there. So if anyone wants to go out and short CLOV right now, there is 3.4 million shares that they can grab from iBorrowDesk or Interactive Brokers, and we are seeing the short fee decline too. So it kind of makes you wonder, the accuracy of all these different things, because a lot of things don't add up. If 8 million shares were returned yesterday, you'd think we would have saw the price go up, unless again it was happening through the dark pool. Ego says shockingly similar to when I bought into ATOS. Why would have? Who would have thunk it? Do you believe they are covering? I don't think so. I don't think we're seeing covering right now. I mean, the amount of volume we're seeing seems pretty consistent with 200,000. We did see this high volume here, 2.4 million, and 1 million, but now it's kind of tapering off. I think this is just regular trading, algorithm trading, retail buying in, maybe some people selling, maybe retail shorts covering, but I don't think we're seeing the 45 million shares getting covered or anything close to that right now. Z1, what's up? Here we go again. Let's see here. Why do so many institutions start converting shares to Class A? Do they want to sell soon? So, my opinion on this is so when they first got in, right? They were given Class B shares because they were early investors, and then so I guess my point is, so with Class B shares, you get more voting rights, but with Class A shares, you get the opportunity to sell, especially in the case of a squeeze or if a company goes up. So, as far as I know, unless something new happened as of yesterday, only Green Oaks converted their shares over, and they had 96 million shares. They only converted 21 million, which is, less than 20%, 25% of don't kill me if my math is off, but basically, they converted less than a quarter of what they actually have to Class A. Yeah, that gives them the opportunity to sell if they need to. But they haven't sold any yet, at least from what I've seen. I'll check Fintel right now and see if there's any new filings. But my assumption is that Green Oaks is in this for the long haul, and they're not looking to get out anytime soon. I think they're just, converted some of those shares over, maybe so that they can capitalize in case of a squeeze and sell off, 21 million shares and make a nice profit and probably do exactly what I'm looking to do, like buy back in once it drops down after a squeeze. That's just my assumption, though. I mean, I have no idea what Green Oaks is doing. Z1 says AMC is bleeding. Yeah, I mean, it's down to 35.79 now. I'd imagine it'd find a bottom here at some point. I know, just on a pure fundamental basis, which I know this stock doesn't trade on fundamentals at all. I don't even know what their market cap is right now, but the last time I had looked a long time ago, with all the new shares added in and the 500 million float or something, I would say this is probably fundamentally right now, maybe like a $6 stock, $7 stock, just based on market cap, 3.5 billion, 4 billion. I think the highest and that's even kind of high. I think AMC's market cap at its highest, and if I'm wrong, someone throw it in the chat. I think it was like 2.5 billion or 2 billion market cap, and so that would put them at basically $4 a share. Which it would be good considering from a company standpoint, considering they just got done with COVID and being closed for a year and a half. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going back there anytime soon. I think that they still have a very strong community of people that are holding this stock and a lot of retail investors that are going to continue to jump in and move this stock higher. But, I've said this before, just, from like a pure, I want to jump into a new short squeeze play standpoint. I think CLOV is a lot safer because the bottom's a lot higher, and I think we're near the bottom now. and the potential of where the stock should be trading at fundamentally is higher than what you can get into right now. That's what scares me about jumping back into AMC at $35 is, if the squeeze didn't happen, this thing could, whenever this squeeze is over and, all the apes leave the stock or some leave the stock and things kind of move on. I mean, fundamentally, even to be trading at a $4 billion market cap is high for AMC. The business hasn't changed much. The business model hasn't changed much. Yeah, theaters are back open, but and I could be wrong here, but I don't think they've ever traded as high as 4 billion ever. Even when like business was booming for AMC. So we'll have to see. But I do think that this stock is going to make a run again. I'll maybe be clear in that I'm not hating on AMC at all. I think people that are still in it do have the potential to make more money, but this more recent downward price movement is a little concerning. Chef Daddy says not sure. Looks like they switched their strategy to the end of the day. Yeah, that is true too. Like yesterday we saw after the big rally on Monday during Power Hour, we saw the volume pick up again in Power Hour yesterday, but it looked like a heavy attack, which is also, we also saw a bunch of shares get returned. I don't understand that part. Can you look at big block sells and buys? Yeah, let me pull that back up. I had the perfect setup yesterday where I had the big block thing up and we were looking at it. And then I don't know what the hell I did with it. Let me see. I don't even know where the hell I put that at. I think I left so I walked away from my computer after I was done streaming yesterday, and it took away because my Charles Schwab app just like closed on its own. Let me see if I can get this over here. It's closed on its own. It didn't save the layout that I created. So let me see if I can create that real quick. That way we can put it up. I don't think it's that hard. Launch tools, block trade indicator, actions, tab settings. Let me get all this crap out of here. And I'm going to put CLOV back up. Add. Okay. Now, because I didn't have it open, I don't think we're going to see any big block trades that came in previously. But I do have it up now. Make sure. Get rid of this too. All right. So I have it up right now and it's going to start putting in data. If I see anything, I'll get it up there. I don't know if you guys can if I could zoom in on this a little bit, but right now, this just came in, basically, this is all dark pool data, block trades on the dark pool. And it looks like, what is that? A 13,000 share order, at 898. So I'll keep this up and just let it kind of keep refreshing. Yesterday, Degenerate actually showed me how to do this. I hit him up beforehand and because I noticed that he was using the same software. I said, "Man, where are you getting that dark pool data from?" And so he walked me through it right before we went live yesterday. And so I had it up the whole time, and now I forgot all about it. So I'll continue to keep that up there, or pull it over onto the screen occasionally, especially if I see some big numbers. Thank you for reminding me, Lisa. Hedgies want CLOV at 0. Yeah, I believe so too. We are getting, so ATOS did just complete that gap fill that we talked about a little while ago. So my assumption is that ATOS can start to rip now. Let's see. Let's get back to this daily chart. And yeah, it had gapped up previously. We did come down and fill that gap. I think we're ready to get back into our get our running shoes on. Let's see what happens. We have ATOS level 2 up. Man, I gotta stop messing with stuff. Let me move this back over. There we go. Get everything dialed back in. Volume on ATOS at 13 million right now too. Doesn't seem like there's a ton of resistance in there. I do think that our big resistance, I mean, obviously VWAP's always kind of a resistance level, but it's going to be 750. The closer we get to 750, the more downwards pressure we're going to see. Let me pull CLOV up real quick. And, CLOV, if we get back above VWAP, I really think maybe we could run a little bit. We do have some support at 880. Looks like a 32,000 buy wall sitting there. And not a ton of resistance on level 2 right now. Co-creator, why would the expansion news be any better than the 5 previous good news catalysts that did nothing to affect the price? Yeah, no shit. I hear you on that. It's like no matter what, these stocks, I don't know. They just find ways to drive the price down in them, and you continue to see good news and it doesn't do anything. Things that in normal stocks, you get some sort of announcement and you'd see a little rally. We haven't been seeing that with CLOV. GameStop, don't even get me started. Since June, since the shareholder meeting in June 9th, there's been so many little catalysts and announcements, and the stock has done nothing but go down since that day. So, let's see. Almost banned somebody right now. I don't know. I gotta stop clicking so fast. I almost did that yesterday too. Hedge funds want Shamat to lose, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it too. A lot of these people that were short GameStop, I think in the initial run up, Shamat had a lot to do with it. He made a lot of money off that. Me and Dave were talking about this offline yesterday, but I remember, and I always mention Shamat sent out that tweet about loading up on options on GameStop, and that got a lot more people pouring into the stock, and he really helped with that first squeeze. And I think they're targeting the shit out of all his specs. SoFi, CLOV, Virgin Galactic was one of them. I mean, I think they're trying to hammer the hell out of them and not let them play in the Billionaire Boys Club. So we'll have to see. AMC close to 10% down. John says AMC is done. I'm all in GME. Yeah, so you're feeling my pain then, John. I got you. I'm in the same boat. I'm not in AMC either. I know there seems like there's some new people in here too. We got quite a few people in this live stream. Just so you know, my big positions are GameStop and CLOV. ATOS. I'm in for this gamma squeeze today, I should say this week. And usually I just kind of bounce around with the other ones. But I did have AMC up here because I was kind of expecting maybe for it to run today, but maybe we got to get this red off this chart and see if we can pull something else up. Let's see. What do you guys want to look at? Throw it in the chat. What do you want to be this fourth box down here? We could take AMC off. What's driving ATOS down? Well, there was that gap fill we talked about a second ago, but my expectation, market makers and short sellers, right? They don't want to see this gamma squeeze take off. But we're there. I mean, we're holding above 6, and 6 is a pretty significant strike price for ATOS. We're looking at what is this? 31,000 differential of calls to puts. That's 3 million shares. 0.63 delta. The longer we hold, just even at $6 and a penny, 602, the longer it stays in the money, the more this delta is just going to increase every minute we get closer, and all this delta is going to increase, and that's just going to drive the price a little higher, and every time the price goes up, the delta and all these will increase, and I really think we're still looking prime for this gamma squeeze. And now that we got this gap fill, if we continue to go up, I do think like 750 is kind of going to be the sweet spot. If we hit 750, we run to 16. Tim says, are there any cases where company was bankrupt by short ladder attacks and SEC didn't care? And was it a company with solid fundamentals? That's I don't know. I mean, I know that they bankrupted a shit ton of companies over the years, but I can't speak for certain on what the fundamentals of those companies were and if they actually used short ladder attacks. But I would imagine they did. Yeah, I know there was one specific story, and I can't think of it right now, of actually like a cancer research company that just got hammered into the ground and basically bankrupted, I think, by short sellers. There's a lot of how do I put this without, I feel like on one end, short sellers aren't entirely bad, right? Like there are times where, shorting is good for the market. It's just abusive shorting, and shorting for nefarious reasons, and short and distort tactics and things like that are bad for the market. Just the same way that like pump and dumps are bad for the market, right? I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's just the opposite. Like they're looking to short stocks down to zero. That's not good, and the same thing as people looking to, come in and just go pump a penny stock up to 300, because there's always going to be people who get burned in those scenarios. And I really feel like, there are some nefarious reasons out there why people short these stocks. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that are writing negative articles about CLOV and trying to suppress CLOV, and using these FUD tactics against CLOV, that in my speculation isn't just, it's not only to make money off the decline of CLOV, but also to suppress this company from expanding, because I think CLOV is going to be a disruptor in this industry. And with their AI and everything they have going for it, they're kind of afraid of CLOV becoming a big boy in this field. So there's always these nefarious reasons too. I mean, a lot of cancer research companies, and companies that could be finding cures and really benefiting the world, are sometimes the ones that are getting targeted the most by short sellers, and hammered into the ground before they could even get started. And why? Who benefits from that besides obviously the stock price falling? Well, it's the companies that are making a shit ton of money on the drugs that you're dependent on when you have cancer or Alzheimer's or some of these other things. So there are these nefarious reasons for people shorting the stocks too. And I can't speculate as to why or who is doing it, but I do know that it's out there and it exists. So, you know, I hope that answered your question. Sometimes you guys ask these longer questions and I just start running with them. Let's see. And here we go. So Lisa's actually kind of pointing out what I'm getting at. So JP Morgan has big ties to Humana. Humana does Medicare Advantage. Clover Health has the potential to be a huge disruptor of the industry. And there we go. And so now you have like, why would a JP Morgan downgrade? Why would, some of the biggest short sellers in this stock maybe have ties to JP Morgan, who also has ties to Humana? And some of the people that are writing negative articles, have the ties are all over the place. And so it's not just making a little money off a stock falling down. There's these bigger grand scheme of things, slowing a company down type of thing. Tar Heel Blue. In my opinion, the Medicare expansion is a nationwide news story that everyone sees, not just us. Nobody knows that we just hired a growth officer to the board except for us, as an example. That's a good point. What kind of catalyst will be big enough to kick off a run that shorts can't stop? I'm behind, so I'm just gonna catch up. Tar Heel says good earnings. I'm gonna try to skip ahead because I'm behind right now. Can you update us on space? Yeah, I'm way behind right now. Let me see. Sorry guys. See, I start talking for too long and I get too backed up on the chat. Let's see where space is at right now. I mean, I don't know. There was the share offering, and I think that's why we didn't see a big bump, in space after the successful test flight. My assumption is the stock is going to continue to kind of trade downwards now until we get news of let's see here, until we get news that they actually completed the share offering. 2 hours ago, we got some news that Virgin Galactic announces date of second quarter financial results and conference call. Okay, so what are we looking at there? Pull this over. On Thursday, August 5th. So, all right. Second financial results and conference call on August 5th, which isn't too far away. What is that, a couple weeks? But I really just think that, what is this? Too much bullshit in these meme stocks too. Excuse my language, but when you try to look up news on them, it just kind of it gets clustered in with all the other crap. That all the BS meme stock stuff. But yeah, I mean, successful flight. Branson beat Bezos to space. I expected space to freaking skyrocket, and it did. Like right at 4 a.m. that morning, it went to 60. But unfortunately, with these things, the companies try to take advantage and raise capital, which is good for the company. I mean, absolutely, right? Like they're going to raise $500 million, I think, but that's going to scare away investors. So, we are in a bit of a decline with space, but I think it's going to get right back up there. I really do. It's just a matter of sometimes, and I've seen this happen even with GameStop. Even with AMC, and when these companies try to take advantage of kind of their higher share price and raise some capital, you'll see an immediate decline. But then once they announce that it's over, we should see this probably bounce back upwards and go get back up here and test 60. I mean, is this stock trading on fundamentals? Not really. It's absolutely trading on the speculation of what it can grow to. It's a growth stock in a new sector, and they got FAA approval. They've had the successful test flights. I mean, I'm really bullish on Virgin Galactic. I don't have a position in it. I should say that as well. But I just that share offering, I think, killed their momentum. Nolan says Volkswagen circa 2008 jumped up, got crushed, and popped to $1,000 squeeze. Tar Heel, this could be a setup for a new darling if AMC stays down and we or someone else pop. Yeah, I could see that as well. Co-creator says Clover Health is his darling. All right, I'm going to start skipping over some of these because I really got to do that. I'm not skipping this one. Co-creator says 98 people. There should be at least 50 to 60 likes. Come on, Clove, friends and family. Help the brother out. I can't even skip over your comments anymore, co-creator. I'm just trying to skip through, but they're too damn funny. If Chelsea Clinton would just do a Playboy half nude in a field of clovers, we'd go to the moon. All right. is Medicaid expansion. I think it's Medicare, but actually going to pass the Senate. I don't know. I mean, I want to try to like not get on politics myself, on the channel. Um, but I think that's going to be a really sticking point, and probably a big battle between the Democrats and Republicans. So I'm not sure. Said AMC is getting Code Murder 1, and that's a Bone Thugs reference. You know what? I used to listen to Bone Thugs. I don't remember, but I'm not from Cleveland like you. So but I don't know that reference. Um let's see here. Target short sale just averaged down on CLOV from 1330 to 12. Hell yeah. I need to do that. I did buy some dip yesterday, but because I kind of reloaded a little extra cash in my account, so I was able to jump on some of that dip yesterday. Um, but being the gambler that I am, I also loaded a little bit more into my ATOS calls because I'm really feeling like this is looking strong, and that's gonna end up going back into CLOV. But hopefully, I think when I first made that video about ATOS, and I've been saying it every day. Um, it's like I know this is a straight up bet, and these calls can expire absolutely worthless. But I'm feeling a little bit stronger about it today. I still am too, even though it went down. I mean, we got this early morning drop, this gap fill. I think we're ready to see a takeoff now. Um, Coach, how does the dark pool affect stock prices? Well, I guess in this, and I could be wrong in this, but my understanding is it it affects them by not affecting them. um, and I guess what I'm getting at there is like, for instance, you know, if I have access to the dark pool and I want to drive a stock down, I can go purchase. I'll throw out a random number. I'll go purchase 100,000 shares on the dark pool. Well, when I go purchase them on the dark pool, that buy order that I did of those 100,000 shares, that's not giving us price discovery. That's not making the price go up because I'm buying them off the market. But now I have 100,000 shares in my possession, right? So even though that 100,000 buy didn't drive the price up, guess what? I can now come into the market and sell those 100,000 shares at the market and drive the price lower. And I think that's part of what's going on. The dark pool in itself was created, and I understand why it was created. It was so that, these big, huge orders wouldn't manipulate the price. So let's say, you know, I'm Space, Virgin Galactic. I want to raise 500 million, and where my stock is trading at right now. What is that? 15 million shares. Let's just call it 15 million shares. If they go in at the market and just start selling 15 million shares, they're going to tank their own damn share price. But they can go into the dark pool and allow, bigger institutions to buy those shares from them at a comparable price to where the market's trading at. And that way they don't tank their share price while they're offloading their shares. That's kind of why the dark pool is there and why it exists. But like all things, they get manipulated with greed and people trying to make money and finding loopholes and things. And I think that's what's happening is in 2021, you have this big retail movement, and maybe this has been going on for years. But of retailers basically going around short busting and saying we've had enough and we found these opportunities to, if we can catch these shorts sleeping, we can make some money on these nice pops that we can create. And then they're finding ways to go in and not only cover shares through the dark pool, but also, short through the dark pool as well. So I hope that answers your question. If you haven't watched Wall Street Conspiracy, check it out. I'm going to write that down too. Is that the one that was on YouTube only and it kept like getting removed and stuff? I can remember it kept reading about that. I think on the Super Stonks subreddit, but I haven't watched it yet. Tar Heel says look up West Christian videos too. Yeah, West Christian's done a lot on it. There's also, like I said, I always kind of refer people to it, but if you go look at the Super Stonks subreddit, and there is a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull this up. I'll stay on a little bit longer today too. I know I haven't even gotten to most of the comments, and been sitting here blabbering for a long time. So I'm gonna pull up this subreddit real quick because there used to be, and I'm not. Let me see. Let me see if I can find this real quick. So in the Super Stonk subreddit, there was a link that was this it? Important posts. It's up there on top of the subreddit. They have, these channels, and if you go to important posts, Master's Guide DD, if you get on here, I mean, you'll find a ton of stuff that doesn't all just have to do with GameStop. I mean, it applies to the markets, all the way around. There's so much in here right now. I don't want to actually get into it, but there's a whole section in here on market manipulation. There's a whole section in there on dark pools. Basically, I mean, you've had for the last 6 months a ton of people. Dave Lauer, the one that was working for Citadel, is been posted in there. They've got AMAs where they've been talking with with people like West Christian and they've I think Adobit's been writing a bunch of stuff, like there's a ton of information, and if you go, it's one post right there that kind of has everything, and you could find a lot of information in there about not just GameStop but the markets in general, market manipulation, dark pools, all that kind of stuff. Ego says, I have a lot of family members in Humana plans. I will be convincing them to move to Clover plan as soon as expansion comes to my area. Co-creators from Cleveland too. All right, I didn't know that. You probably said it before, and sometimes I forget shit. But who did I saw? I was in Reno about maybe 4 years ago, and Bone Thugs was there performing. I mean, this was, like I said, 4 years ago, so it wasn't like back in the day or whatever. And I didn't go to the concert, but it was like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. We were getting ready to go to bed, and these guys came out of the concert, and I mean, they were just hammered, and went down, and we were playing blackjack next to them, and gambling on the casino floor. The casino was pretty empty at that point. Anyways, I go to bed, and we had to be up early for a coach's clinic the next morning. So we got up at 6 a.m. We go down to the coffee shop, and these dudes still hadn't slept. I mean, they were, it's like 6 or 7 in the morning, and you could tell they were still drinking and still getting after it hard at the, I want to say it was maybe even the craps table, but that was a fun time. D Worms. Oh, Ego says, enjoy my French. Right on. I don't know. I don't even know how YouTube treats that. If I sit here and cuss, I'm about to ask Tar Heel. He does more research than I do. If I am cussing a little bit on here, if that's gonna affect anything with YouTube, I don't know. Motley Fool put out a bad article today. Yeah, you get these people and they're all tied in, and they're getting paid to write these articles too, right? So I don't know. Take it for what it's worth. Narwhal, what's up? You have a good day too. Have fun at work. Hopefully, we'll make some money soon, and you won't be working anymore. Let's see. Can we get one more ATOS review before you get off? Yeah. Coach, you totally listen to Bond Thugs. Oh, you know what? I saw you posted on there too yesterday, right when the stream ended. So I'm gonna check. I'm gonna write that down too, because I wanted to check out your channel. I remember you said you had a channel, so I'm gonna check it out when we sign off today. I saw you posted it like right when you signed off. So let me see. Workhorse. Brian, I haven't seen you in a while. Right on. Thank you for coming in. Workhorse had big news yesterday and is getting pumped. All right. And stars, yes, I will go over ATOS before I sign off. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything in here. I'm not going to be able to get to all these either. SRT's in the house. SRT knows too. He's got a pretty big channel, so thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so I think I got through all the questions. Let me or all the comments. Before I sign off here, I do want to just kind of go over all these stocks and kind of just go back around and see what we're looking at. So first off, AMC. I'll even pull it up here so we can look at it while we're talking. I didn't realize I didn't have the order book up here either. Let me get that back up. So AMC looks like it did kind of bottom out at 34-ish, and it is working its way back up to VWAP right now. Kind of see what happens there. Down 8% on the day. SPCE down 5%, still going lower. I really think that we're not going to see some positive movement there until maybe August 8th, or maybe if they make some sort of announcement at some point. For the stocks that I am in that I haven't been talking about much all day, AVXL looks to be trading flat. It did dip down earlier to 24.40, and it's currently at 25.42. BNGO, feel like it's like my stepchild. I've never I don't have a stepchild either. I'm just joking, but it's like the one that's kind of just off to the side. I haven't been talking about it much. I'm just waiting for something to happen. It is trading below 6 right now, down 2.3% on the day. All right, getting in. Oh, you know what? I'll pull up Workhorse. I just want to see what's happening with it. Workhorse is down 4% right now. Maybe it got you talking about that pump yesterday right at the end. But I am going to check out Workhorse. Well, I've been intrigued by Workhorse. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it. I don't know. I got to tell you, I don't know much about it at all. All right, so ATOS. Let's start there. GameStop trading really low, down 1.5%. Yeah, BNGO is not playing nice. Let me see here. I'm just trying to see what stock we're looking at here. Daniel said, "What do you think about the massive number of August options? Are you talking about CLOV?" Chef, have a good day. I see you signing off. So ATOS, just looking at the options chain again, we are at 642, and the delta right now is at 0.63. Again, this is kind of like a gamma squeeze play for me. It's up on the day right now. I know it doesn't seem like it because it's hard to, when you're just looking at a chart and it looks like the chart is going down, it's like, oh my God, it's tanking. But, it only looks like that because it gapped up, right? So, we're down on the chart, but we're actually up 1.5% on the day. So we're still up from yesterday. We're still trading in a positive. We're still going up. And if we take away the after hours, you could see the gap up here, and now we're there. Looking at the option chain again, these calls heavily outweigh the puts. And that's what I'm looking at here on this play. And it's not just, at these out of the money strikes. You go deep into the money. I mean, there is thousands of call contracts outweighing the puts that are deep in the money, and that's gonna like support this base of the stock. You're not gonna see this unhedging once you get to a certain point. I think where it, like I keep talking about, once we run past 16, if the gamma squeeze kicks off and then the thing starts unwinding back down the other way, I don't think we're gonna see that unwinding. It's gonna probably drop down to maybe, probably back to around where we're at right now, 550-ish. But I do think that this still looks extremely strong. I mean, you got 16%, 25%, and 36% of these calls that are all in here that still need to be hedged. So let's just call it, on average, maybe about 50%. Like we'll call it maybe like 30% of these calls that still need to be hedged, like in general. And if you look at how many that is, that's 20,000, um 20,000 and 30,000. So 40, 70, that's 7 million shares that roughly, let's just say 30% need to be hedged. This is just quick math. That's basically like 2 million shares that, if the stock stays exactly where it's at right now, 2 million shares still out there that need to be hedged throughout this whole thing. That's what I'm looking at, right now. And that's every minute that moves us closer and closer and closer to Friday's expiration. We're going to continue to see some delta hedging going on, and that should push us upwards a little bit as it happens. And as we continue to go up, 750 is kind of the big price point. If we can cross 750, then it's going to really get interesting. You're looking at 5 million shares here, 5 million shares here that'll need to be hedged as we move up, and that's going to propel us right past this $16 mark on the option chain. So that's what I'm looking at least. I mean, and the setup is still strong. I'm not looking at ATOS right now like, oh my God, it's down to 642. I mean, 642 is higher than where it was yesterday, right? So it's moving up, and I think it'll continue to move up. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on ATOS today, because this is something that can happen in the blink of an eye. All of a sudden, if some volume comes pouring in and we get a push upwards of like $7, it can kick off, and we could see this thing happen, in a matter of 20 minutes, 30 minutes, where we push past $16. And, depending on what happens once we get past that point, it may not stay up there for too long. I talked about this at the beginning, but kind of my exit strategy on ATOS is going to be to unwind a little of my position at 16, because that is the top of the option chain, and a lot of these gamma squeezes that I've been a part of seem like they start to taper off after they hit the top. Even if you think about like CLOV's gamma squeeze on June 8th, it's kind of the same thing kind of happened. Like, once it got to 22, it ended up surpassing it and went to 25, but then it ran out of steam. And that's when it started tapering off, and then you had the reverse. You had the unwinding of the gamma squeeze. So with this one today, I'm thinking it'll get up to $16. Maybe it pushes up to 20. I mean, there's also the FOMO factor, and there is a little bit of short interest in the stock as well. So, but 16 is where I'm going to be looking to start taking profits and securing that I'm not losing any money, and then seeing how high it runs, and then just see kind of like where volume starts dropping off and all that kind of stuff. But I'm really excited about ATOS. I really think there's a lot of potential in here today. In terms of CLOV, we looked kind of promising early. He went up and hit 925. We were going green for a while. At one point, we were the only green stock besides ATOS, and the ones that I'm looking at that, now we're back down in this 880 range, 890 range. Looking at level 2, there is 31,000 buy order at 880. 20,000 shares roughly at 870. But these are support levels like, that did get ripped through yesterday. Yesterday we saw almost 100,000 shares, on level 2 at the $9 mark, and it went right through it. So anything could happen, but that doesn't change my outlook on the stock. I think that, this stock is one that I'm gonna buy and hold, because even without a short squeeze, I don't care if the short interest goes down to zero. For me, CLOV at $9 is a steal fundamentally. So that's my take. Last one I'll talk about right now. So Dave says that's why you need limit sell orders. Good till canceled at 16 for your position you want to sell. My opinion. Yeah, you know what? When we sign off, I might even get on the options calculator and options profit calculator, and just kind of try to guesstimate, like, when it gets to 16 where my options will be at, because I have no shares in ATOS. I went all options, and they all expire this week. This was a straight up bet for me. Like, if the gamma squeeze doesn't happen this week, the money that I put into it, I'm willing to lose. If it does happen this week, I'll make a nice chunk of change and, be able to roll it into some of these other long-term positions that I have. So that's what I was looking at least. And so, yeah, that's a good point, though. That way, if I walk away, I don't miss out. Get on I'll get on that options profit calculator, kind of type in and see where I'll be at if we get to 16 today, and then set a good till cancel limit order for the position I want to get out. That's actually great advice, Dave. And then, yeah, someone said, Michael said, looks like you received your obligatory dislike. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting one every day. So there's someone that's coming on here that doesn't like me, that just loves coming in here and hitting the dislike button. That's cool. You're giving me the watch hours. I don't mind. You must like me a little bit to come in here every day. Let's see here. So, anyways, if you are still in here, I appreciate it. Quite a few people today. I am gonna sign off. I normally, just run from 6 to 8, but I'm just so damn excited right now about the prospects of what could be happening today, that I wanted to keep talking a little longer. So, but if you are in here, make sure you hit the like button, please, or dislike. Looks like that thumbs down went away. I'm sure it'll come back. But if you're enjoying it, hit the like button. That helps me out, I think. I'm not sure how that works, but I think it helps with the YouTube algorithms. And also, if you're new to this, hit the subscribe button. I'm pretty heavy in CLOV and GameStop, but I do also cover other stocks that I'm not invested in, and then some other ones that I am invested in. And I just like having fun. I feel like we're building a nice little community here on this channel, of people coming in here every day. I'm starting to, there goes that thumbs down. It's back. See, so whoever it is staying in here. So you must not hate me that much. I appreciate it, though. Let's see. All right, you guys have a great day. I appreciate everybody being in here. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Also check out my boy Tar Heel. He'll be streaming later on today at 12 o'clock on the West Coast. He's on the East, so that's 3. But basically power hour, the last hour of the day, and he's got some great insights. He's a lot better at TA than I am, and he's a lot funnier than I am. So go check it out. All right, I'll see you guys later.